For the 37, we are going to be creating views for cities, and then we are going to be creating all of the same HTTP methods that we created for stage. But before we do that, we have to first perform this for this time it's going to be cities, and then we are going to go ahead to create cities inside API v1 views. Then we create cities.py. And stage, I'll go here, I'll copy all of this. Maybe I should start from here. I'll copy all of these and I'll paste it here. And then I'll change this to cities, and then I'll import city as well. And then first route is going to be for retrieving all city objects of a specific state. So we remember that there's a relationship between city and state ID, meaning that cities are created with the ID of a state. So this route is going to be expecting a state ID for retrieving all city objects. So it's going to be /state / the state ID, and then series. And one of the function is going to be get cities by states, and it's going to take in the state ID from the route. All city objects of the state. So we are going to get the state object with the given ID from the storage using the get method. That is, we are going to first get the state, then I'll pass in state followed by the state ID. And then if state is found, or okay, let's say if state is not found, you're going to abort with 404 error. But if the state is found, we are going to get all the city objects that is associated with this state and then convert them to dictionaries. And we are going to do this with a list comprehension. This comprehension, we are going to first say for city in state.cities, and then for each city in state.cities, we are going to call to dict method on each state, and then we are going to save it to this cities variable, which is a list. And then after this, we are going to return the list of cities of objects as a JSON payload by calling JSONify and passing cities to it. The next one, this route will be retrieving a specific city object by using the city's ID. So the route will expect a city ID, copy this. And then should be the route and you're expecting a city ID. And then the name is going to be get city. It's going to take city ID into this list of. And then first we are going to get the city object with the given ID from the storage using this get method, and this is going to take city ID and also city. And then we are going to check, okay, this has to be also city. Then we are going to check if city was not found. Okay, let's say if city was found, we are going to return the city object in a JSON format. We're going to say return just file, and then we're passing city, and then also call to to dig method on it. And then else, that is if city is not found, we're going to return with about 404. So this route will be for retrieving a particular city by its ID. So this route will be for deleting a specific city object, and the route is going to be taking the ID of the city that the user wants to delete. Let me just go copy this as well. And this is right. It's going to be cities, and it's going to be expecting the city ID, and the method is going to be delete. And then the name of the function will be delete city, and it's going to be taking an ID. And then, as usual, we are going to use the get method to retrieve the city from storage. And then we are going to check if city was found. If city was found, we are going to delete the city object from the storage by calling storage dot delete, and then passing the city that was found. And then we are going to save these changes by calling storage dot save, and then we are going to return an empty JSON with 200 status code. Return JSONify, passing an empty dictionary with 200 status code. And then else, that is if city is not found, we are going to return about with 404. That is not found. So we are going to be creating another route, and this is going to be of method post. And just like in state.py, this route will be creating a new city object under a specific state. So it's going to take a state ID and then create a city under that state. Yeah. I'll go on and copy this. I paste it. So it's going to be states, and it's going to be looking for state ID, and then it's going to be slash cities, and the method is going to be a post method. Yeah, and then the name of the function is going to be create city, and then it's going to be taking state ID. So this will be create a city. So as usual, we are going to ensure that the content type is JSON. So we say if request dot content type, if it's not application slash JSON, we are going to return with about 100 and with a message not a JSON. And then next we are going to go ahead to retrieve the state object with the given ID from the storage. So we say state is equal to storage dot get, and then we pass in state and then the state ID from the route. And then if state is not found, we are going to abort with 404. But if state is found, we are going to go ahead and check if the request data is in a JSON format. So we say if it is not in a JSON format, we're also going to return this. But if it is in a JSON format, we are going to get the JSON data from the request, and we are going to save it to this variable data. We're going to do this. And then the next one is to the next one is we are going to check if the key attribute name is not present in the request data, because when we want to create a city from a state, we need to pass in the name of the city that we need to create. So we are going to check if in this data there is an attribute or a key name in it. So we say if name is not in the data from the user, we are going to abort with 400 and with a message missing name. And then, but if the name is in data, if name is in data, then we are going to assign the state ID key in the JSON data, because we need to also pass in the state ID to be able to create state under a city under this state. So, but we create a key state and make the value the state ID from the endpoint, from the route. So the next thing to do is we're going to create a city object with the JSON data. So we say city is equal to go city, and then have the data. And then you're going to save city, and then finally we are going to return the newly created city object in the JSON format, and then with 201 status code. Return JSONify, and then we call to this method, and then followed by the status code 201. And then I think lastly for this task, we are going to create a route that will handle updating an existing city object with the given attributes, and the route will take the city ID. So I'll just come and copy all of this. Push this down and I'll paste it. So the route is going to be cities, and is expecting a city ID to update. That should be it. And then the method should be fruit method, and the name of the method is going to be, okay, the expecting city ID, and the name is going to be update city. Here we are checking if the content type is JSON, is not, we are raising about 400 with this message. And then we are going to go ahead to grab the city object from with the given ID from the storage dot get, and we pass in city and then city ID. And then if city is found, you're going to go ahead to check that the request data is in JSON format. Say request dot okay. I'm going to say if the request dot get JSON, that is if it's not in a JSON format, we are going to abort with this, and then so we are going to go ahead to get the JSON data from the request. So I'll also save it to data, and I'll say request dot get JSON. And then we are going to create a number of attributes that cannot be modified by the user, and we are going to call them ignore keys, and it's going to be a list. The first one will be an ID, the second one will be state ID, third one will be created at, then the fourth one will be updated at. And then we are going to iterate through the given data, the data that we get from the user, that is the data that has the attributes that the user wants to update. So we say for key, we know it's coming in a dictionary format, so we look through the items. And then we are going to check that the key is not already in this list of ignored lists. We are going to say key is not not keys. If it's not there, we are going to use the set attribute method to update the city attribute. So we call set search attribute and then pass in the city followed by the key and then the value of the attribute that we want to update. And then outside of this loop, we call city dot save to persist the changes and then we return the updated city object in JSON format with a 200 status code. Then we are going to call city dot predict and then with 200 status code. And then if city is not found, that is else, we are going to abort with 404, which is not found. So we are going to go ahead and test this route. So let's start our app. And then over here, we're going to be making a get method to state so we can be able to retrieve all the states and then use the state ID to test this route because we have to pass a state ID to be able to retrieve all the states associated with this with the particular ID. So I'll pick this first one, and then we know that this first method is the route is expecting state ID and then cities. So I'm going to pass in the state ID, then followed by cities. So here we are getting a list of states associated with this state ID, and then we are going to test this route, which is a get method, and it's going to a city ID is passed to it is going to retrieve that city. So here I'm going to look for pitch. So I'll copy the ID and I'll go down here. So it's expecting city slash city ID. If I press enter, not found. Okay, let me get it on. Oh, okay, my bad. I should be copying the ID, not the state ID. So let's try this again. If I press the state ID, this should get me the state ID, the state. So we are going to be testing the delete delete method. Let's see if we can delete this page. So I'll go here and this is going to be a delete method. Delete and then this city, then expecting a city ID. And I have city ID. So let's see. So it's returned an empty dictionary. So if I try to retrieve this city again, so it says not found. So next we are going to test the post that is that's creating a new state, but it's going to be taking a state ID. I think I have to get the space. So and then post is going to be a post method, and when the state slash the state ID, and I'm going to be checking Nairobi, then slash cities, and I need to pass in data, and then I pass in the data, which is going to be a dictionary, and it's going to as name of the city. What should I call it? Samba. And since this should, if I should press enter, there we have a new city called Samba. So we are going to also go on and test the Qt method, that is to update. It's going to take a city ID, and then we are going to pass. So I guess the only thing we can be able to update in a city is the name. So I'll call this again, and then I'll change this to a Qt method. Then I'm going to change this Samba to Basin. So if I press enter, says that's allowed. Let me see what I did wrong. Okay, I guess I was using the ID that I deleted earlier, or maybe the state ID. So here we see that we succeeded in changing this from Samba to Basin. I guess that should be the last method. So